Alright, here we fucking go again. It never ends. Off campus UC Berkeley student housing bans white people from common areas. Of course, but let's keep talking about white privilege, even though I haven't seen even one example of it. An off campus housing co op for University of California. Of course. Berkeley students bans white people from entering common spaces to avoid white violence, which, by the way, is the lowest amount of violence, and you know exactly what's going to happen too. If there's no white people there, there will be lots of violence between black people or from black people, and then they'll somehow twist it to say that black people causing violence is white supremacy. And if you think I'm making a joke here, I'm not. I don't remember which article it was, but I saw an article like 3 years ago where they literally blamed black violence on white people. It was fucking amazing. I know you probably don't believe me because I'm not proving it, but I swear to God, this was a real article. It was from a mainstream media source a couple years back. Anyway, sparking criticism, I wonder why, that the policy inflames racial tensions. Shocking, right? Blaming white people for everything makes racism worse. I mean, I've only made like well over 10 videos involving racism, and in quite a few of them, I did explain to you people why the only way to end racism for real is to completely stop talking about it and becoming colorblind. Because when you do what SJWs do, which is talk about it endlessly and blame white people and victimize and lament about it in school and all that shit, you're not actually helping racism. They think you are, but what you're actually doing is prolonging it and making it worse. Hence why you got criticism and claims that it would actually inflame racial tension, because it does, and I've been saying this for many fucking years. I am vindicated once again, but no one cares. The 5-story, 30-room person of color theme house, not racist at all, near the school requires students to declare their race when signing in.
What? What the fuck?
Declare their race while signing in. Like, we know what this looks like, but let's just act it out anyway. Can you imagine you're signing in a form, and just like in the 1940s, you had to declare what you are, black, white. Well, you didn't have to say it. They knew by looking at you back then, but but regardless, same type of concept. You have to point it out and declare it and make it an actual thing where, again, if the world ever listened to me and we became colorblind, we see. Now, I know what you're thinking. What do you mean, Matt, by colorblind? I'm stupid. I'm a university student. I don't understand basic logic. Okay, let me explain. Colorblind means that you simply don't ever look at a person's skin color. That's it. So, no matter who you are, white, black, brown, whatever, Simpsons character, yellow, whatever, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the fuck you actually are. It doesn't matter what a form can ask your name, your age, your height. Don't mention race. I know this is a crazy thing, but let's try to live in a world where race is simply not mentioned, not talked about, not pointed out, not asked about, not declared. You're just a fucking person who bleeds red. That right there, what I have just said, is what real, keyword real, anti-racism really is. Not fucking pointing it out and talking about it constantly. Anyway, declare the race when signing in and to announce when they're bringing white guests into the building. Oh my god. According to house rules, many POC moved here to be able to avoid white violence and presence. Imagine this exact sentence, but switch the word white with black. It would be frontline news for the next year. So respect their decision of avoidance if you bring white guests. The rules declare white guests are not allowed in common spaces. Yes, they must go to a jail cell and never leave. Let's take a look at this idiocy. House members and rules should always be respected by all guests. Make sure your guests understand our house values and uphold the themes of the house, as you are responsible for their behavior. Many POC members moved here to be able to avoid white violence and presence, so respect their decision of avoidance if you bring white guests. Guest limit per house member is 5 guests. All guests must wear masks in common spaces. Always announce guests in the guest chat if they will be in common spaces with you and if they are white. Holy shit! Guests are allowed in common spaces, but please be mindful if there are house members in the room beforehand. White guests are not allowed in common spaces. Fuck. So, out of curiosity, does this, because I know that SJWs don't actually have any discernment whatsoever, so does this apply to anybody with light skin? Because, just out of curiosity, I thought I felt the need to point out that some Indian people actually have very light skin. This is a point that people have been making in the anti-SJW community for quite some time, that SJWs just, like, lump all white people together. But what if it's, like, an Indian person with very light skin, because they do exist? What if it's, like, an Italian person with very tanned skin? That doesn't matter? Okay. I'm just making sure. Do not leave guests alone in common spaces to avoid house members assuming it's a stranger and alerting the house chat. Avoid bringing parents and family members that express bigotry. Right. Because this is not bigotry. Right? This is not bigotry?
Fucking degenerate.
Okay. Queer, black, and indigenous members should not have to avoid common spaces because of homophobic or racist parents and family members. Let me put it this way. If you are the one receiving these rules, that means you're part of the house, right? So, naturally, you come from a racist family because you are racist. Although, to be fair, a lot of racism is actually learned at school, which means it may not have come from the family, so... But I'm just saying, there is a portion of the students who come from racist families, and this is them right here. Be conscious of the amount of noise you and your guests are making in common spaces or in your room. Yeah, but isn't there like that whole meme that black people tend to be louder than white people? And, by the way, that stereotype is like mostly true, by the way. Our house walls are very thin, and we have quiet hours from 10 p.m. to 9 a.m. on weekdays, 1 a.m. to... Yeah. The building was set up by the Berkeley Student Cooperative to bring affordable housing to low-income, first-generation immigrant and marginalized students of color. I do love how they're just naturally assuming that all black people are low-income. Okay, I'm sure that's not racist. But some of the rules sparked outrage, with students saying they're too aggressive and defy the spirit of inclusion. Yes, but you see, you've forgotten how SJW culture works. To whichever students said that they're being aggressive and defy the spirit of inclusion, you seem to forget that inclusion and diversity means everybody but white people. So make sure that you understand the rules of SJW culture before you speak. Okay? Make sure. One mixed-race student who claimed to have lived at the house said that their presence as a light-skinned person was not received well. This is exactly what I said! Exactly what I just said. If it's like an Indian person or a mixed race person has lighter skin, they just assume, boom, you're white. Like, and so they had a mixed person who was maybe half black or half Indian or something like that, and they were called slurs. You fuckers. I was not allowed to let my dad enter the house because he's white. The student, oh my god. Another former member wrote a Medium article saying the house had earned a reputation for its aggressive call-out culture and lack of intersectionality. Oh my god. Adam Ratliff, yeah, you're a rat, all right, assistant director of media relations and critical communications, told the Post the co-op housing is not run by the university and that it's not the school's role to comment. Of course, it never is. It never is. When there is, like, disgusting racism that's normally anti-white, obviously, it always comes down to no comment, and then the school or whatever industry it is saying, like, well, we don't have to comment if we don't want to. Yeah. To be clear, it is not campus operated. This property is operated by a private landlord, and it is not the rule of the But it's on school property. He said the university's housing programs have no such policies like the one alleged in the Reddit image and do not discriminate on the basis of race, consistency with UC and campus policy. Bullshit! I can use my discernment and years of experience to say that that comment is bullshit. I don't give a fuck if it's separate. You all know just as well as I do that this is normal. This is the norm now. This is not just one article, you stupid fucks. This is the norm now. It happens almost every fucking day. So yes, they are just anti-white, like most people are. All SJW culture, all modern university educational systems, that's just how it is. Don't fucking lie. I don't give a fuck if it's separate, because if it wasn't separate, the same thing would have happened anyway. Maybe on a different level, but it still would have happened, okay? Anyway, yeah, this is in California, no surprise there. And, yeah, wow, motherfuckers.